Today's blog post is actually a video. I've done a couple of YouTube things before, but it was really important that I did it this way for this blog post. So I was going to write this, but instead I've decided to video it. And that's because it's to do with my own impression of my own body and how that has got in the way of things that have happened in my life. And so talking about it in this medium, instead of hiding behind the words that I write on a page, I hope that this rings true with people and that I'm not the only one that feels this way, and that I can move forwards and try and be a bit more confident and come to terms with my own body, and also that my body isn't everything. I'm more than just this physical shape. And you, everyone, is so much more than the sum of those parts. You know, I know girls have a much harder time of it than us guys do, just because of the volume of images and magazines and stuff that's out there. But in this sort of social media world where what we see is determined by our sort of search activity, our interests and all that sort of things, it's actually really hard for guys to escape it as well nowadays. And you know, that's not taking anything away from the ladies out there that have had to deal with this for years and years and years. But I think as people are growing up now, it's going to become something that's more and more prevalent, and we need to be able to tackle this and not have whole generations of people who aren't achieving what they could achieve and aren't believing in themselves when they really should be, just because they're surrounded by these images which are photoshopped, changed, dressed up, slimmed, smoothed, reality altered. And images online or in magazines, they're far from reality for the majority of people. You know, you look at some of these big names, especially in the men's market, where everyone is photographed topless in skimpy underwear and all that sort of stuff, and you know, that's unattainable for a lot of people. You know, they're doing this for a career, they're models or they are sports stars, and having that body is part of what they do. So is that attainable for me? Probably not. And is that attainable for someone of my size right now? Well, yes, I could lose a lot of weight, but you're not going to change this width. I'm never going to be a small framed guy, regardless of how much fat is on my body. So yeah, there's some changes that I could definitely do to make life easier, but would I be happy even if I got there? Probably not. I was once so concerned about my stomach that I bought some of these like underwear that are like thick elastic. You know, like ladies have Spanx, sort of like that, for a guy to sort of hide your stomach. And sort of pull it in. Well, either my stomach was too big or they just weren't very good, but they didn't do a job at all for me, and complete waste of money. And one of those things that I just go, what were you thinking? Like, why would you do that? We should be able to be confident in what we are, and I shouldn't have to think that everyone is looking at me when I walk on the street, and you shouldn't either. I should be able to post pictures of my holidays and times on the beach without worrying what people are saying, or worse, not posting them in case someone says something not very nice about them. So people sometimes ask, where did the confidence go? And I don't think it went anywhere. I don't remember a time where I felt comfortable, even when I was really skinny. Yeah, I wasn't body confident then either. And so I don't know where it went. Like, obviously, I guess as a child I wasn't, but I can't remember a time where I was confident in my body. And so how I try to build my confidence is dressing in ways that make me feel good about myself, so that I can do my job confidently, or I can be in a room of people that I don't know and have a conversation with them without being a nervous wreck or sort of gliding around the walls trying to avoid everyone, which was commonplace for me before. I think the thing in my head was, what would someone want to talk to me about? Like, why would they want to speak to me? But now I find that the way that I dress and the way that I try to look after my skin and that I sort of groom my beard and all those sorts of things aren't necessarily about getting body confident, but they're actually about making me more confident in a specific scenario. So I will keep dressing in a way that makes me feel better about myself, and I will still keep doing my skincare and take care of myself, and I will try to post more stuff online even if I don't think I look amazing, and I will try to stop worrying. And maybe I'll put myself into a few positions where I am being judged by people, but it's okay. I think that's my step program for what's going to happen next. I like that angle of myself. I really don't like that angle of myself. I'm quite sort of jowly down here and sort of excess skin, and so I get that really easily, but I think a lot of people get that, but I'm quite self-conscious about that. I don't know, I see a fairly symmetrical face, I guess. I have patches in my beard, which I can get quite self-conscious about, and which is why I tend not to, there's one there, I tend not to grow it too long because there'll just be a big patch there. I don't know, I'm very broad, I've got a bit too much fat there, I would say. What else? I hate my belly, anyway. Got a really flat bum, and yeah, I don't mind my legs actually. They're alright from years of sport and stuff like that. So that's what I see, but it doesn't actually matter what I see, because it's sort of what the camera sees that we're more concerned about nowadays. And I don't know, is that healthy? I don't think it is. But how do you stop that? How do you escape that? Do you just stop social media and be done with it? Maybe that's the answer, I don't know. Maybe that's just the answer. I don't know, I don't have the answers. I'm just hoping that a sort of frank discussion about it, and a guy talking about that, and a guy in his 30s talking about that, might be useful, not only for people out there, but for me as well, to sort of help me move on. I've got a new tattoo, actually. I say a new tattoo, it's my first tattoo, and it's fairly recently. It's just here on my arm, and I absolutely love it, and actually it has brought me more confidence. I don't know why, I just really like it, and so that's something I'm really proud of. So I like wearing short sleeve shirts and things like that now, which I wouldn't have done before. It's personal to me, and so it means a lot to have that on show as well, and that's a choice that I've made. So yeah, I think that has been a really positive thing, a positive experience for me as well, and not at all painful, which was my first concern about getting a tattoo, to be honest. There are pictures of me where I'm really, really skinny, and I don't equate skinniness with good looks, but I look at those pictures even now and think, I looked really, really good there. I don't know if I did, but in sort of in my brain, that's how I equate it. And so is it not a good thing to look at those pictures? I don't know. I've just been looking back at some of the footage, and I mean, I'm literally looking at it and pointing all the flaws out to myself. Why is that? Like, I think with blogging, the content is much, like the words that I write are much more important, whereas it's sort of very easy to get self-obsessed when you're seeing yourself in the monitor of the camera, or, you know, staring back at you from your iPhone. I mean, I don't know, is body confidence looking in the mirror and being 100% happy with everything that you see? Because I think if that's what body confidence is, I'm never going to get there. Or is body confidence just coming to terms with what you have? I don't know. I think having a kid at home has made me question all this as well, because I don't ever want him to not love himself. Yeah, I had a tough time when I was out in the acting world, and then I went back and did a master's degree at a very good drama school, and I had a tough time of the course. Actually, I really enjoyed it and I would definitely do it again. It was really great, but I wasn't able to achieve everything that I wanted to on that course because of my problems with my body image, and I lost a lot of weight while I was drama school purposefully, to build on this confidence, because it was something that was getting fed back, like tutor after tutor, director, choreographers, all those people that we're working with, every single one of them was saying the same thing, that, you know, you are guarded, there's a lack of confidence in your own ability, and it's sort of reading, and you know, you don't want that to be reading on stage when you're playing a character. You don't want your own issues to come through in the character. And so yeah, I found that quite tough. And then I got out into the real world, and it was so hard out there. It was so hard, and I knew it would be, and I knew it had been already for me, but I didn't fit into a typical bracket. I was good, but probably not the best. And the reality of life got there, and it got to me, and you know, I had to earn money over everything else, but it meant that I never really resolved those issues because they got in the way, and then I just stopped doing that, and I regret that. It's very frustrating for you to be getting in your own way in life. You've got no one else to blame but yourself, and that can be really difficult to deal with. I guess what I want to say with this video is that I think a lot of people struggle with these things, and if you are someone who is struggling with their own self-image, you are most definitely not alone. I think we're surrounded by a lot of media, which is hard to escape nowadays in social media. I mean, it must be really tough for younger people growing up at this stage, because you can't ever escape it. I mean, I go through my Instagram feed and I'm just surrounded by sort of buff guys in with six packs and hanging around on the beach, and it can be a very stark reality to a stark contrast to the reality that you're living at any one time. I mean, I'd love to be able to spend hours and hours and hours in the gym. I'm able to do that, but my reality doesn't have the time or the money to be able to do that. I'm working, I am doing childcare, parenting, I should say, rather than childcare. You know, I'm commuting, I'm having a life with my wife and sort of sharing that family life as well. So it's not possible for me. I'm self-conscious about lots of things, and that hasn't really changed as I've got older, and I think there's a bit of a misconception that, yeah, when you get older, they just sort of float away, all these sort of body confidence issues, but I have not found that to be the case. And this isn't a video about going into specifics about those things, but I do think it's important that you accept at some point that you are who you are, and that you can be nervous and have issues with yourself, but that doesn't have to define the person that you are. I hope that this sparks some debate. So please do leave me some comments on the blog. Subscribe if you like this and like my other posts. There's loads on there that you can read from, anything from being a dad to lifestyle, to fashion, to underwear posts, to getting ready, to product reviews. I don't know, all sorts of things on there.